This image is a nightmare for Caitlin Clark's doubters because they know everything just took a dramatic turn. Let me walk you through it. They thought she was done, injured, out of the lineup, and the Fever were stumbling without her. It looked like Diana Taurasi's "reality is coming" warning was finally playing out. The critics saw weakness and wasted no time piling on with petty digs. But then the Fever shocked everyone by winning the Commissioner's Cup. And suddenly, the whole narrative changed. No one predicted it, especially ESPN, who ended up making complete fools of themselves. More on that in a second. This win wasn't just an upset. It reshaped the entire outlook for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. It changed everything in 3 key ways, which I'll break down in this video. But one thing we've learned by now, the more Caitlin succeeds, the louder the backlash gets. And after this game, her post-win words? Just wait. They might go down as a prediction that actually comes true. Let's get into the details of how it all happened, what the reaction's been like, and what it means moving forward. But first, drop a "We love Caitlin" in the comments to celebrate this huge win for Indiana. So, let's start with the obvious. This is the version of the Fever fans were dreaming about back in the preseason. But heading into the Commissioner's Cup Finals, virtually no one thought this would happen. At the beginning of the year, the Fever were hyped as legit title contenders. They stacked their roster with big-name free agents. They launched the bold "Now You Know" campaign that basically told the rest of the league, "We run this, deal with it." And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, coming into the season stronger, sharper, and ready to elevate her game. They even kicked off with a statement win, smashing the sky in front of 2.7 million viewers. But then, chaos. The hate speech investigation hit. Caitlin went down with a 5-game injury. Dana basically channeled her inner Peter Gibbons from Office Space, clocking in, doing nothing, and still collecting checks. And just when things started to stabilize with Caitlin's epic comeback game against the Liberty, boom, Gladiator Night at Gainbridge. Mabry and JC turned the game into an MMA bout, taking cheap shots at Caitlin while the refs looked like they were coaching them through it. And then, as if scripted for maximum frustration, Caitlin was injured in garbage time against Seattle, officially ruled out of the Commissioner's Cup. So, when you stack all that drama together, the idea that Indiana could beat the Lynx in the Cup final? Practically nobody believed it, not even ESPN, who, during the game, pulled off one of the most awkward and embarrassing self-owns in recent sports broadcast history.
ESPN posted, I think around the 3rd quarter, at least that's when I was notified about it, that the Lynx dominate the Fever to win the Commissioner's Cup. And I took a screenshot. This is totally my screenshot, so I went and I verified this because I just couldn't believe it.
They really did that. ESPN kept the headline up for the entire game and only switched it after the final buzzer. Total faceplant. But none of that mattered once the game tipped off, because the Fever, minus Caitlin Clark, showed out. They went down early, but responded with an 18-0 run that flipped the script. They never looked back. Everyone stepped up, but the spotlight belonged to Natasha Howard. She said she wanted that MVP, and then she went out and earned it. Call it confidence, call it manifestation. Either way, she backed it up. And just like that, the Fever threw down an reverse card on ESPN and every critic watching. They didn't just win, they dominated the Lynx in their own house, without Caitlin Clark. And that's why the haters absolutely unraveled, because Caitlin didn't even suit up, and still walked away with a championship ring.
The only strike against Caitlin Clark is that she has not won a national championship. And that is the only thing that you can put against her.
Here's the thing. The whole "Caitlin hasn't won anything" line has been the haters' favorite weapon. It's what ESPN leaned on when they conveniently left her off their top 5 college players of all time list, even though she shattered records and dragged a mid-tier Iowa squad to back-to-back national title games. They've used that same tired talking point to prop up Angel Reese, despite the fact that talent-wise and impact-wise, Caitlin and Angel aren't even close. The narrative has always been, Angel's a champion, Caitlin isn't, case closed. Well, not anymore. This Commissioner's Cup win kills that narrative. But of course, the haters are already scrambling. First, they're saying it's not a real championship. Then they pivot to, well, Caitlin didn't even play, so it doesn't count for her.
She did win the final without her. But it's not like she's Nikola Topic or anything. The only reason they got to the final was because she had a 32-point near triple-double against the New York Liberty. They beat the previously undefeated New York Liberty after a Caitlin Clark masterclass in a game no one thought they were going to win.
Let's be real. The only reason the Fever even made it to the Commissioner's Cup finals was because of Caitlin Clark. She lit up the Liberty and made a real impact against the Sun, helping to secure their spot. Her performances during Cup play were a big reason Indiana had a shot at the title in the first place. So yeah, saying she didn't play in the finals so it doesn't count is just grasping at straws. But the absolute gold medal in salty tears, that goes to the people now claiming the game was rigged. Yes, rigged. Because apparently, when the Fever step up and win without their superstar, the only logical explanation is a conspiracy theory. Not grit, not depth, not coaching. No, rigged. It's the same tired playbook. When Caitlin wins, move the goalposts.
The real fans, all right? Capitalize the real fans of the W will find out what backroom deal you two made to have the Lynx throw this game. Not even cracking 60 points. That isn't even believable to the most naked eye. When we find out, we're coming for your jobs. Full force.
They thought the Fever were spiraling and Caitlin was down for the count. But instead, the opposite happened. The team found its rhythm, the chemistry improved, and the pressure to rush Caitlin back has evaporated. First, like I said, winning changes everything. Internal tensions eased, confidence restored. That championship, even if it's not the WNBA title, gave the team something to rally around. Sophie spoke candidly about how disconnected they'd been, but now they've got a common goal and a shared achievement. They beat the two best teams in the league to get there. That's not a fluke. That's the kind of momentum that shifts an entire season. Second, Caitlin now gets the recovery time she actually needs. No more rushing, no more pressure to save a team in crisis. Fans were already concerned the team had rushed her back too soon. But now, with Aari McDonald providing a spark and the team in playoff contention, there's no need for urgency. In fact, after beating the Lynx, the Fever made it official early. Caitlin was out for the Aces game. That's a major sign of a more measured, long-term approach, and it's the right move. Third, when Caitlin does come back, healthy, rested, and hungry, she'll be joining a team that's finally starting to click. She won't have to carry the whole load. She can be phased back in instead of being thrown into 35 minutes of chaos. AR is here, the rotations are solidifying, and the energy is different. That kind of reintegration sets Caitlin up to thrive, not just survive. And as a bonus, the Fever just became a more attractive trade destination. With cap space available and a team showing real potential, don't be shocked if a veteran joins the mix. The window is wide open. The bottom line, the haters thought the storm had broken the Fever, but all it did was clear the path. First, it proved the team is legit, not just the Caitlin Clark show. This was the biggest question hanging over the Fever. Could they step up when Caitlin wasn't on the floor? And the answer, in bold capital letters, was yes. Beating the best team in the league, on the road, without your superstar, that's not a fluke, that's a statement. It shows the Fever have the depth, the chemistry, and the heart to win meaningful games no matter who's on the floor. Second, it sends a message to the rest of the league, and to the haters, that the Fever aren't going anywhere. They're not a flash in the pan or a team built solely around hype. They just proved they can beat anyone, anywhere. That shifts how other teams prepare for them, how media talks about them, and how fans engage with them moving forward. This cup win gave them something no highlight reel can, credibility. And third, and this is a big one, it sets Caitlin up for an absolutely monster second half of the season. Now she's returning to a confident, battle-tested team with something to prove and everything to gain. The chemistry is there, the experience is growing, and now there's real momentum. When Caitlin comes back fully healthy, she's stepping into a team that believes it can win with her and without her. That makes them dangerous. So, yeah, the haters are rattled because this wasn't supposed to happen. And the fact that it did, without Caitlin on the court, just made her even more powerful.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds.